And we are live. This is Expedition to Castle Ravenloft, episode 9. And we're going to come back here after a long delay. There we go, tweets out. Alright, so when we last left off, you guys had just finished killing the hag underneath Lysagia Hill. You had been up there in search of the Sun Sword. And all kinds of hijinks ensued. I think we left off with we're just about to loot the body, and she has 2 items of interest. One is a ring of invisibility that you can use once per battle to turn yourself invisible, but the moment you make an attack, you become visible again. And whomever takes that will work out what the potential drawback to it is. The other thing that you're going to get is the Sun Sword. And the Sun Sword is what you came for. It is an ancient blade that acts as a +1 bastard sword, but its true nature is revealed when you attune yourself to the blade, which, if you recall from your meeting with Madame Eva when she did the reading, there's a certain place that you have to go in order to attune yourself to the sword. So, and then if you're going to pass off the sword to somebody else, it's just a +1 bastard sword to them until they attune themselves. And I'll give you the extra benefits once you attune yourselves at that time. I will tell you the curse straight off, and I don't think it's going to be a problem for this group. The Sun Sword resists being used by evil creatures, so any evil creature that picks it up on an attack roll that's not a natural 16 or better automatically hits itself doing max damage.
Ooh.
Ouch.
What if somebody is possessed by an evil creature?
Then it's probably going to act exactly the same way.
Okay, just curious.
I was going to nominate. We usually get Geiger counter. Here, why don't you go swing this? If you hate yourself, we know you're a bad guy. Or possessed by one.
Or just plain incompetent.
Right. That's
Is Heinrich a, is he good? I have to ask. I've gotten inklings.
I think I'm a good guy. I mean, it's all relative, right? Moral relativism.
Now we're in the moral relative part of the...
Because, I mean, it even matches your religion. I would nominate you to take the sword, but...
Okay. I'm cool with that.
I think you're the only one of us that uses a sword anyways.
No, I use a sword.
Oh, okay.
I'm cool with taking it. I'm cool with me and Raghnar like engaging in fisticuffs for it.
I'm okay with that too because I have high confidence in my ability to come on top in that situation.
Yeah, I'm honestly fine with whatever. We can roll off for it. I'm more than happy to take it. It's whatever. Or we can decide at a later time.
Yeah, let's decide a little bit later. I mean
it doesn't really do much to us until we attune with it anyways, and we have to do that at a specific place anyhow. So, you know, right now it's kind of we just got this really sweet sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
according to my notes, we have to attune it to wake the sword. We have to attune it, like actually in the castle itself, in like some place. We didn't have the specifics, but yeah. At least I believe that's what Madame Eva told us.
Yeah, I wonder if one thing that we did is when we scried the circle. There's a circle upstairs. And then there's a circle downstairs. The circle upstairs, I believe that John said that he felt that there was a trace going back to the castle. So
yes.
Yeah, I vaguely seem to recall that.
maybe we can keep that in mind for when we actually end up in the castle, to maybe look for that kind of energy again, if at all possible.
Mm-hmm.
For now, I'm actually going to take and see if I can find out anything about the circle downstairs. That because the hag fought mostly within the circle and it seemed to really power her up. And
Yeah.
I basically pushed her out of the circle and took her place, and I was doing a walloping at that point. So, I guess I'm gonna use my gonna see if I can determine anything of the origins or meanings of this circle. Given my see if it has demonic backgrounds or if it's just plain magic, or see what's exact. See if I can find out what's going on with this circle.
All right. Which background are you using?
My demon hunter background.
All right.
18. So 18 plus. Oh, gotta shake off the rust here. Hold on.
You and I both.
So 18, 22, 24. Sorry, 25.
All right.
I forgot your level.
So you're not getting any demonic energies from this, and the circle certainly does not act as a portal to any demonic planes.
So I don't think she came. I don't think she was summoned into that circle, and had any particular binding to that circle, other than she seemed
No,
together.
not at all. Didn't one of you actually enter into the circle during the fight?
I
Yeah.
did.
I think she was driven out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so you would remember from that there was something curious about the energy within the circle where it seemed to assist your movements
Right.
and lend you the ability to strike more true.
Yes.
It was kind of error correcting with a little force.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the circle, I'm hesitant to just leave this here because it seems kind of dangerous. But I don't know if there's anything we can do to get rid of it.
All right. Well, does anybody else want to try and figure out something about the circle?
Or do we just not really care right now since she's dead?
I'm not sure that this is really up Ragnar's field of interest or expertise.
Well, it smells like heresy to me, guys. So
Everything smells like heresy to you.
this is true. This is true. The sun sword doesn't smell like heresy to me. That smells all right, but it could just be the motif.
John.
Oh,
We
sorry. I was
played
muted.
off. Nope, that's fine. When we played off your background about ley lines, was that upstairs on the outdoors?
I think that was down here. I believe.
Okay. You'll know that the ley line passes right through that circle,
Okay.
and
Can I
you'll
use
know
my-
that circle can act as an access point for that ley line.
Okay. Maybe I should have used this as an assist for Bryant's roll, but could I do an arcane guide roll on the circle?
Absolutely.
Alright, I just got a 6, which I believe is worse than what he rolled, so total of 12.
All right.
Or no, sorry, 14.
So you don't know anything more than that. All you know is that with the with the proper trigger, you can access the power of the ley line here.
Alright, and that was the one with the dark energy flowing from Castle Ravenloft. Or just the
Tool-
castle.
Well, the flow of energy, because of your background and how you achieve your magic, the flow of energy is going towards the castle.
All right.
but there's some sort of let's call it an evil resonance going backwards, some sort of feedback, and it is potentially corrupting or perverting the energy of the ley line.
Okay, so the power is being sourced from where we are, but it's kind of backflowing, the corruption part.
Yes.
Okay. I explained this to my comrades. I've got nothing. Did we miss one of the corridors? Wasn't there another place we didn't go to yet?
No, the cave underneath here is self-contained. It kind of goes in a loop.
All
I
right.
think was there another building or ruin that we hadn't gone into?
The upstairs area, the out in the open, is kind of like a in the old day it may have been a small fort in a sense where there was 3 or 4 or 5 buildings of different sizes inside a fortified wall, and it kind of acted as an abbey back in the day. So it would have had a center courtyard area, and the buildings would have been along the outer wall. And of course, all of that has come down over the years between the big fire that razed the place, plus successive generations of everything going on, natural processes. The whole place is a sad mess. So if you go upstairs, out the trapdoor that you came down, there's chances that you can explore around there more, and you also have the other circle that's upstairs that doesn't seem to correspond or have anything to do with this one.
Well, I mean, we're here. We might as well look around and see if there's anything else of interest. There might not be. I mean, we may have exhausted the limits of what this place can do for us or tell us. But it's not like... I mean, we're here anyway. So...
Sounds good to me. We've already kicked the strongest thing in town's butt, so... Or at least the strongest thing in the building. The strongest thing in the building. We got our butts kicked by the strongest thing in town a little bit earlier out in the woods, I think.
Yeah, I remember that. It didn't feel so great.
No, you remember parts of it.
Actually, that's the last thing I remember before I woke up in the basement of this castle, or this ruins.
So.
All right. So
I would say go down and check out or check out that other area. The
other circle?
Yeah.
All right. So everybody files out of the cave, and I don't properly recall what time of day it was when you guys went down into it. Does anybody have a recollection of that?
I'm pretty sure it was into the afternoon.
All right.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit later in the afternoon. Let's call it 4 o'clock.
Yep.
And the shadows from the sun is on its downward path by now, and you're starting to have shadows cast by the ruins of the place. But there's still plenty of sunlight to do your business. And as you investigate the other circle, it's arcane marks drawn in the ground. It's not like somebody dropped some dust or drew around. It's like think arcane mark from D&D. Someone had actually drawn the symbols here with magic, and it's really big. It's about 15 feet in diameter, and it faintly radiates magic. How, if in any way, would you like to investigate this?
Yeah, if it's not demonic, I don't really have much of a clue as to what it.
So I already rolled for this, so I don't have much else, honestly.
Well, you rolled for the one downstairs. This is a different circle.
Oh, right. This is the one above ground.
This is the one above ground. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I forgot there even was one. Well, I guess I'll roll again then.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything to add either.
I got 16.
You're remarkably.
All right. You're remarkably consistent in
And
failure.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get rusty. You start rolling crap all over again.
I've been rolling crap the whole game. I think that our last session was the only time I've killed something ever. So.
It may be. So you can tell that this is not connected to the ley line in any way, and that's about it.
All right.
I know. This circle smells like heresy, Heinrich. Why don't you take a look and make sure?
Not getting as much of a strong heresy vibe off this one. This one seems pretty normal to me.
Probably double checked. You know, it could be very insidious heresy.
Does it have a sun motif around it? I really don't think I have anything that would be useful in checking it out, backgrounds-wise, actually. So, pretty limited in my skill set in that regard. Yeah, I don't think I don't think I got nothing.
I kind of remember us seeing tracks around the trapdoor. Were those leading in one specific direction, or was it kind of just a heavily traveled area with no clear entry point?
It was a heavily traveled area. Do you recall anything about the tracks?
Yeah, I remember there was the big footsteps, and I think you might have mentioned smaller ones. But the big one was pretty.
Yes, there would have been footprints of two different sizes. You would have had them the size of the giantess, or the hag, I should properly say, and there would have been ones that were more human size, regular boots.
All right.
Where did the smaller ones lead off towards?
All right. Well, the smaller ones would trace over the rubble out to the other side of the exterior wall than from where you came in. And if you can follow them, they go back towards the back of the hill where there's a hidden path that makes it a much easier egress from the hill than the way you guys scrambled up.
It's something.
You guys want to go?
And the path would appear to lead down towards the road.
We might as well follow this all the way back towards the road.
Yeah, I mean, if it's faster anyway, and we might get to kill something evil.
Here's a question, though. Do we want to be out on that road in that same area at the same time of night as we were when we got ambushed by the Vargwheels?
Do we want to be up here at the same time of night?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think I was thinking is maybe hide in the in that cave until morning. Maybe nobody else knows that the hag is dead, and they're still fearing her. But if we do go down there, I would suggest hanging out in the other room of the cave, because if somebody comes to visit the hag, we might not want to be sitting there lying in the same room as her mangled body that we hacked Fergus out of.
That's true. We probably won't burn that body incidentally, just in case.
That's true.
I don't know,
I'm willing to stay down there, but I also feel like it's kind of a death trap in many ways. You can't get out if someone comes in.
See, the thing we have, the problem we have here is that there are no good answers. There are the worst.
Welcome to Ravenloft.
Exactly. So, I mean, what we have to pick our poison. What do we want to potentially deal with?
I'll sleep in the hole if Fergus can keep watch with any other sentries we have.
I'm inclined to think that if we're going to be out, we should be here in someplace defensible. That being said, I think we should follow the footsteps down to the road just to make sure there's nobody, hanging out.
All right.
And then we can make camp in the cave, because even though it's as has been pointed out that it's kind of a death trap, it's also it's a very good defensive position. It's because there's a choke point. So yeah, I suggest that at least a couple of us go down. Yeah, two of us should go down, kind of stealth down the road, make sure nothing's waiting for us, and a couple of us should stay here, take care of the hag's body, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I've noticed the dead don't tend to stay dead in this place.
Good point.
I would really like not to fight that thing again.
Yes. Definitely. What if we sent... What are the rules on having your familiar stay next to you? Because it could give us a surprise advantage if we send Fergus down the trail first, and then he tells us if there's someone down there. Is that allowed or no?
Well, you do have some sort of limited ability to communicate with him, and I'm pretty sure that he can convey to you whether there's somebody there or not. The problem is that even though the path makes things easier, it's still, I think, at a glance, probably about 500 feet difference in elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So even on your 2 feet, which are considerably longer than Fergus's, it's not going to be a simple hour to go down and back on the path and be back before sundown. So doing that with Fergus, it's going to take significantly longer because shorter feet and avoiding predators that you don't even have to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Also, I think Fergus is just a little worse for wear after being swallowed by the hag.
That's true.
So I don't think that you're going to get
Walking
much
off.
out of Fergus today.
Yeah, Fergus has been traumatized. You may need to play therapist for your familiar for a little while, rather
He's
than
fine.
send him on the next mission immediately. I'll go down, even knowing that it's going to take us down after dark. I'll go down as well. Who wants to go with me?
I'll
We
go
can go
just
down.
to avoid splitting the party, but I mean, will
Well,
We're
we?
gonna split the party anyway.
What's in the party?
You stay and take care of the hag, killer. I'll go down with Ragnar. We'll argue and debate the merits of who gets the sword, even though we've already decided it in the sidebar. And that'll be our RP for the night.
All right.
I think that I should. Well, here's why I think I should have it.
I will fight you for it. Let's get back before we fight for it. All right, you're on.
All right, so we're set on splitting the party?
Against my player, my better judgment as a player, yes.
And are we burning
Okay.
the hag while we're gone?
Which half do you want to reconcile first?
The hag half. Let's do that half.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Before you just launch into whatever description is ready, we're not just lighting this on fire right away. We gotta do this intelligently, because we're sleeping down there. So I don't know how much smoke.
Well, I didn't figure you were going to light it on fire down there. I thought we were proposing that we take it outside and light it on fire.
Yeah,
What's a ladder?
I can haul that body out of there. Even if we have to chop it up, I can still haul it out of there pretty quickly.
Okay. What if we just tie a rope to it and pulley it up?
Either way, I mean, we hacked it up pretty good getting Fergus out of there, so.
That's true. And we froze her too. I forgot about that. So she was shattered actually. Oh, she was shattered. Do we even have to burn her?
Well, the freezing pretty much freezes the outer shell.
Okay.
So, it doesn't penetrate all the way in, especially when you have such a large creature. Which is why Fergus is still alive.
Right.
Because all those layers of muscle and fat and skin are what protected him from freezing when you hit the hag with cold damage.
All right.
The other thing is if we burn her, are we bringing attention to this spot?
What if we just cut it up into even smaller pieces?
Or and or bury her underneath stones.
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
All right.
I think we'll do that instead of burning because, in my experience, when people see fires coming from places they don't expect, they tend to go check them out. And seeing that we're split right now, and seeing that those guys are going to be down on that path that whoever is going to be coming up here will probably use. Let's just kind of hack it up and scatter it about and bury them bury some of the bigger chunks under rocks.
Okay.
I've dealt with body disposal before.
All right. So, cutting up the body to bring up will pose no problem for you. Now, I'm assuming the other two are already gone.
Yep.
All right. It doesn't cause any. It isn't a problem, but it does take a little bit of time. And as I explained before, the entire body hasn't bled out, hasn't frozen solid yet. So there's still a fair amount of blood leaking out of this body as you quarter it and break it down into, let's call them, bite-sized chunks. But you notice something curious as the blood pools on the floor and it touches the magic circle that the hag was trying to stay within. The circle flares with power.
Huh.
For sacrifice, maybe?
What happens to the? So I'm gonna take a chunk and toss it into the circle. What happens?
Nothing happens to the chunk that you fall in, but you notice upon closer examination that any of the blood that touches the runes that make up and symbols that make the circle, they just kind of get drunk in by the symbols. They don't pass over it. It doesn't cover them in any way. It just kind of sinks into the symbols like a drain.
Huh.
Would this development be significant enough to warrant a new investigation? Because I'm not really willing to complete any sort of ritual that we don't have an idea about.
You may absolutely make another roll.
Alright, let's hope it's higher than a 2. I rolled a 6 again, so that's a 14. My dice suck.
All that you can tell for certain is that something has been activated.
Oh, so it's too late. We've already.
I'm gonna see if this has any resemblance to it, any demonic conjuring spells that I might have seen when I was a child.
Absolutely.
That was much better. 17 with 22, 23.
All right. You've seen this sort of behavior with magical circles before, where it drinks in the blood, but once again, you're not getting the evil vibe off of this or the demonic vibe off of this that you would have expected. Again, it's not a portal per se. There's just this sense of mounting energy within the circle.
Huh.
It's like an outpouring of energy that's trapped within the circle itself.
Can I don't expect this to work, but can I look through the opal at the circle? Sort of scan it.
Oh, absolutely.
Good idea.
All right. So you take out the dark opal, and once again you look through its opaque gem, and then after a moment and speaking the command word, an image starts to form in the center of it, and the circle has transformed into a column of pure energy that looks to you to be the same kind of energy as the ley line that leads into the circle. And you can actually see the ley line as if it were an underground river deep within the rock of the hill, and how it just, some of it's drawn out and right up into the circle. And this is not something, when you looked through it before to see the hag invisible in the circle, you would have seen the ley line, but it wasn't connected to the circle in the way that it is now.
is that same dark backflow, has it reached the circle, or is it kind of around the circle?
It's kind of like a ripple that travels across against the tide.
And what would you describe as the primary energy type? Like, is this just pure energy, or is it nature energy, or...
It is nature energy, and it is the energy of the mountain. It is the essence of stone.
Wow.
It's going against the energy coming from the castle?
Yes, it flows in that direction, but it's almost as if the energy from the castle is an oily taint that just kind of slides back regardless of the direction that the energy is actually moving in.
Hmm.
But it gets fainter the further away it moves from the castle.
Want to go check out the top circle and see if that's changed?
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright.
All
We
right.
do that.
So it's probably getting on around 5 p.m.-ish because it takes a while to hack up a body that size. And you can see that the shadows are starting to deepen a little bit, and just from the corner of your eye, you think you see movement, but you look, and there's no way that something could have disappeared in that time, but the shadow's empty. Moving on to the...
Actually, I'm going to use the opal on that shadow.
All right. Well then, you see...
This opal is like my ace in the hole now. We completely forgot we had it till last session.
It is a pretty badass magic item, so...
Yeah, it doesn't
You
affect
see-
me negatively yet, does it?
Hmm?
I know it had like some sort of golem-like side effects, but that only happens if I spend its magic abilities, right?
Right. So it acts as a gem of true seeing for nothing.
Okay.
But there are other powers that it has that allow you to interact with the ethereal plane
Right, and that
that
was on
cost you some of
page.
your recovery dice. So that when you spend recoveries, you get less healing out of it because it's feeding the gem.
And do those ever recharge?
Oh yeah, they recharge after a full heal up.
Okay. So, what do I see?
All right, so you see ghosts, and the ghosts appear to be of people who have been burnt horribly in a fire. So it's like melted faces and crackling and smoking limbs, and they all appear to be in torment, but they don't seem to be aware of you or anything else. They just seem to be staggering around in pain and wailing, and occasionally they kind of melt into each other and form this amorphous blob before separating again and going their separate ways. And there's dozens of them, all within the confines of the fallen exterior wall.
Oh.
So, it almost sounds like you're describing like a recording. Are we like watching them go through a preset motion, or are they kind of free will wandering around, almost?
In the short time that you've been observing them, you can't tell.
Alright. Well, I tell Ember, I'm like, hey man, there's some creepy burned ghosts walking around us, and I'll have you take a peek as well.
Okay. Well, they don't seem to be bothering us right now. Whether that changes when the sun goes down,
Right.
that may be the case, but I don't think that. I think that we should.
I will say that you didn't see anything like this downstairs while looking through the gem.
Yeah. I think
And
we should.
they appear to be strongest, and by that I mean most solid, when in shadow. It's almost as if sunlight disrupts them.
I'm gonna say that this is half in character and half just me genuinely thinking this is a good idea. I almost feel like we should just take off down the trail after them and camp out far away from the tip.
That might not be a bad idea. I'm worried about that other. I'm worried about that bad dude with the Varg wheels coming out. But I think if we keep our wits about us, we can take him on. I don't think it's safe having the party split with these ghosts around. They may be innocent ghosts. They may be just tormented souls that mean us no harm. I've seen that plenty of times before. But I've also seen what seem to be innocent, harmless, even sometimes childlike ghosts turn incredibly evil and vicious when given the right circumstances. So
Too many variables.
yeah, so I would say let's walk back towards them.
Alright.
Down the.
I'd say brisk walk. Brisk.
I'll also tell you at this point that you noticed that they seem to be avoiding the summoning circle that you went up to investigate.
What if that Okay.
We had established it's definitely a summoning circle,
Yeah.
but they don't go within it.
So maybe we can just chill out there. Of course, if Raghnar and Heinrich get back after dark, then they might not be able to get to the circle.
Yeah, it's this is a dark place and a dark world, so I think we better join back up with them.
All right.
Because what happens if they face the Varg wheels by themselves? We certainly don't want that. So, yeah, let's join back up with them.
All right, so you guys are unanimous in wanting to join up with them?
Definitely.
Did you want to do anything more downstairs first?
Did
Because
we
you
get
still have a body to
stuff?
dispose of, and you still have the mystery of the activated circle.
Did we split most? I mean, we've split these chunks in half at this point, right? Like half of them are outside, half of them are downstairs.
Well, I left it in my head that you guys had just finished cutting it up because it was the blood flowing from the cut limbs that activated the circle.
Okay.
It's possible that you would have brought some up with you, but probably a little less than half between the two of you. Another 3 trips individually should do it. So one person 3 times, however you want to split it.
Well,
Plus, you've got the one arm inside the circle now because Ember tossed it in there.
So I guess I'll glance at the the outside summoning circle and see if anything's changed there before we do anything.
All right.
Well,
Still with the gem?
Yep.
Okay. No, there's nothing that's changed about the summoning circle up here.
Okay.
yeah. So
And
the one up here. So one thing to remember is the one up here is a summoning circle. The one downstairs is not a summoning circle. That's just a magic circle.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to give you guys a couple more minutes to think on that, and you can take that chat into the sidebar. And I'm going to go to Raghnar and Heinrich, and we're going to see how they're doing. The trek down the hill is uneventful, and as you're walking down the hill, let me just double check real quick what the compass is.
I feel like it was a pretty uneventful travel. We bonded. We talked about decapitations being easily the top 3. Easily within. You agree with me on that, Ragnar? Easily within the top 3 best things in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I sang a song for Ragnar. He did not really care for the song. Wow, that stings.
So
But it was a good walk.
as the sun sets in the west, which is towards your left. But towards your left, behind Lysagia Hill and away from the town of Barovia, the hill that you're walking down on is probably the tallest thing this far south. But as you go north, it starts to get higher and higher, and almost low mountainous, like the Catskills here in New York. We like to call them mountains, but if you've ever seen the Rocky Mountains, you know they ain't nothing. But the hills are much higher, so the sun is actually going to be behind the hills before it would normally be below horizon. And then if you're underneath the canopy of the forest that's closer to, let's call it ground level. Excuse me. And you can see the sun no more. It's just a slowly deepening shadow twilight. And it's about 5 o'clock, and you guys are at the base, and you know that the road is nearby. And from here, the path becomes a bit more wild and overgrown. It looks more like an animal trail than it does a path that's walked by human feet. And it's rather hard to make out any tracks at this point.
I think at this point it's less about following. Well, to some extent, it's still following the tracks. I think but it's also about in general making sure that there's nobody down here, kind of hanging out like they're coming up to the or leaving from the top of the hill. So.
All right. The road here stretches away to the northeast, and it goes straight for a fair way before taking a, let's call it a hairpin turn to the right, where it begins to go almost due south because it's winding around terrain. But so far as you can see, there's nobody within, say, 40 minutes walk by the road.
Okay.
Seems pretty safe to me.
It's
Safe-ish.
Yeah, that's as much as anything can be safe in this place.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
And
given what we heard of these woods.
and we're the best way for us to find out if it's not safe or not is to linger around here. So I think we need to start heading back up.
Okay.
We've lost all our ability to see.
Okay, that works for me. I mean, I've got torches, but I would be hesitant to use one and call any attention to ourselves. Might as well use the natural light as much as possible. So.
Exactly. And just lighting a torch would just make it as a target for anything that hasn't already noticed us.
Right.
All right, so you guys are just going to turn around and head back up. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get up there than it took you to get down. So instead of getting back at 6:30, it'll be like at 6 o'clock. It'll be more like 6:30 at night, and by then you reckon it will actually start being sunset-ish, and you'll have to get a move on by the time you get up there to help make camp if the guys don't have the job taken care of already.
Hmm.
Okay, so, gentlemen, okay, I see that John had to step away for his scheduled few minutes there, but before he left, Bryant, did you guys come to a decision about what, if anything, you're going to do with the body before, are you going to finish disposing of it before you start heading down, or?
Yeah, I think it'd be best if we dispose of the parts. If I think there's enough time, I'm going to toss the parts. I don't know how close we are to the edge of the cliff, but I'm going to toss them.
You're close enough that it's like 5 minutes walk, if that.
Maybe
it's clear from here to the edge of the cliff. You can easily just toss it over. Are you going to try and grab the arm out of the middle of the activated circle?
You know what? No. I'm not gonna
Okay.
mess with that.
All right.
Maybe that may regenerate her. I don't know, but actually, wait. It's not a huge circle, right?
No, it's about 10 feet.
I'm gonna see if I can get a stick and poke it out. I'm not gonna reach in there myself, but I'm gonna kind of jab and try and sweep and jab it out there. And I have a short sword as well, and that's gonna be too short though. So, um, yeah, I'll see if I can get a stick and kind of poke it out of there, and just in case she had some troll blood and was gonna regenerate.
All right. So you grab a stick, and there's no trouble finding one, if crooked, that can do the job. And as you poke the stick into the circle, at first you feel a little bit of resistance in the air. It's as if the air itself had gotten thicker inside of the circle, and the stick appears to bend as it goes in, kind of like when you put a stick into water and it refracts.
Okay.
So it takes you a poke or two in order to get the angle just right, so you actually hit the arm, and you try and flick the arm over and out, or at least to a point where you can.
Get it with my short sword.
Yeah. So you get the hand, at least, out of the circle along the back and right next to the wall.
Okay, I'm gonna try and scoot it out with my sword. Kind of drag it out of there, because I don't want that power circle basically overcharging and exploding while we're close by. So I'm gonna kind of just drag it out as best I can with my short sword.
All right. So the arm. So you're just gonna kind of like reach over and nudge it the same way you were with the stick.
Yes.
All right. All right. So
it's not that bright sometimes.
nope. Okay. So there's no problem there. You get the arm out.
Okay. I will. Does the arm look any different?
No.
Okay. And does I don't have the stone, so I can't see if the power of the circle has gone down at all or not. But
you're going to guess no, because it wasn't doing that refractive thing before.
Okay. And it's still doing that even with the arm out. If I.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going
because there's still blood on the floor and it's still not dry, and it still the power of the circle continues to glow.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take the body parts and haul them upstairs and pitch them over the side of the cliff.
Okay. All done. No problem.
As I'm doing this, do I have any sensations of the ghosts around me, or
None at all.
They aren't whispering at me or anything like that, or?
Nope, can't sense them in the least.
Okay, I'm gonna continue about my task then.
Okay, so no problem taking care of all this. Kenthis is, of course, there that he can help. So,
because I don't want wolves coming at us, basically with nice meaty bits.
you could toss all the bits off, and you walk along the cliffs so that you spread them out a little bit, and they're not in one pile at the bottom. And you can hear them crash through the canopy of the leaves below, and but other than that, you can't hear them thud as they hit the ground.
Okay.
And you are done. So you guys are still, that's the plan? You guys are going to leave?
Yeah, we're going to head down towards the other two guys and see if we can join up with them.
Okay. So the entire party meets up again about halfway up or down, depending on your perspective, the hill. And you guys explain why it is that you felt not safe. And I guess the question is for Ragnar and Heinrich, do you guys agree that that's a good reason not to stay up there tonight? I mean, right now it's about, let's say, getting on 6 o'clock. It's almost dinner time. You got to make camp soon anyway, but you got to pick up or down.
I think the road is probably going to be more dangerous. I mean, it's a road. By its very nature, it's going to be traveled. I mean, from Ragnar and I's trip, I mean, we didn't see anything, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see anything. So, I mean, I think the castle's a little, or the ruins are a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
Who cares if there's a few ghosts? I can turn them. I'm not scared. You guys scared?
Ragnar's inclined to agree, just because, there's no good solution, and there's still a lot of benefits to being up in the ruins.
Well, I was most concerned with being separated from you guys. I wasn't sure what you were going to encounter when you came back. If you were going to be back up before sundown, before dark. I don't know what these ghosts are going to do when it turns dark.
Have they been violent thus far?
No, they're tortured souls, and I feel bad for them. But they haven't interacted with us at all.
I'll say a prayer for them when we go to bed. Maybe that'll give them the solace they need to get their way to their eternal rest. Were they doing anything strange or anything like that?
Other than melting and burning and
that is strange.
Like I said, they were tortured, but they didn't seem to have any focus. Like, they weren't focused on us. They weren't focused on any outside source. They didn't go inside the summoning circle up on the surface, but
how big is the summoning circle?
it's about 15 feet across.
Why don't we just 15 feet across? I mean,
yeah.
There's 4 of us. If we needed to, we could camp inside of that. It'd be close quarters, but I mean, if we're really worried about these creepy ghosts, we could just stay in there.
And I have cleaned out downstairs. The blood did something weird with the circle. It kind of grew more powerful from the blood.
My heresy sense is activating.
But other than that, I mean, downstairs is theoretically clean.
Well, as you said, we don't necessarily have to be downstairs if we don't need to. We can keep the downstairs as a fallback point, just in case we are attacked or something goes wrong during the night. Yeah, we can go back down there because that's the entrance is a choke point, and that's good defensively. But until something definitive goes wrong, we don't necessarily have to keep ourselves down there. In fact, it might be better if we don't, because that way we're more inclined to catch anything bad coming.
Right. Yeah, we know it's coming, as opposed to being surprised by it coming down. So, I mean, at the very least, if we can stay near that summoning circle that's like upstairs, kind of where the ghosts are congregating. And if it looks like they're going to become violent, we can step inside and hope for the best. Did you interact with the summoning circle?
Not really.
I have a question, though. How long did that ring of invisibility last?
The ring of invisibility lasts until you attack.
What
or take a rest.
Oh. Okay. What if I jog in place?
You get very tired.
10 hours later.
You have to maintain a level of activity that would constitute not being at rest. So you could be engaging in intense study. You could be engaging in a craft. You don't necessarily have to be standing up and walking around. It just has to be something that is not restful.
Okay, I have an idea. For the first guard shift, everyone sleeps downstairs, so we're not all caught by Vargwheels or whatever. But I just whittle inside the summoning circle, and I let you guys know if anything goes wrong. While invisible.
Okay, I was about to say, assuming wearing the ring, correct?
Yeah. and then I could switch halfway through so I can sleep too.
Yeah, and there's nothing to prevent you guys from handing off the Ring of Invisibility to let somebody else use it. So that the once per combat thing is just a guideline. You can certainly do something like this.
What is like, since I missed whenever the combat with the hag downstairs happened? What is like the description of this downstairs area with the ruins and like the
Okay.
preferably like the stairs leading down.
So the ruins. I'm gonna show you a picture here as best as I can.
Okay.
All right. So the trapdoor is right here. So it's kind of hidden because it's surrounded on three sides by another building, or at least the ruins of a building. And the area underneath is pretty much right underneath that building. When you look at the underground area itself, you come in this alcove here.
Okay.
And so you've kind of got three main areas that you guys can work in. So you've got the area where the circle is, which is on top. And you got the area where it's kind of broken up by those pillars on the bottom. And of course, the first area that happens when you first get down the stairs.
Okay. Well, I like Kenthis's plan. It makes sense, but if we do that, we need somebody to at least keep an eye on the creepily activated summoning circle that y'all accidentally activated.
Well, what we could do is we can camp out basically in the entrance area, and that's literally just a couple of steps from being able to see where the circle is.
Yeah.
A little bit below. So maybe we could have a couple of different people standing guard at any given point. We can have somebody upstairs with the invisibility ring, keeping a lookout for any external threats that might come through, and we can have somebody else kind of hanging out over to the keeping an eye on the circle while the other two rest, and we can switch off every couple of hours or so.
That works for me. I think that's smart.
Keep in mind that with Kenthis' plan, if he's sitting in the summoning circle outstairs because the ghosts won't go into it, he's going to be on the opposite side of the compound from where the trapdoor is. And there's going to be the walls of ruins between himself and the trapdoor.
Oh, so I can't see the trapdoor from where I would be?
No, you do not have line of sight, and consequently, any noise that you make would have to be really, really loud in order for someone to hear it down there. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated to alert them, but if somebody's keeping watch and you can send up some sort of light or flare,
I can send Fergus.
Or you can send Fergus. Everybody knows who Fergus is by now.
I'm loving this mouse. I should have been using him the whole game.
I know. So sending Fergus, and this is something that Fergus can do pretty quick. It'll only take him about a minute to get over there.
Cool. All right.
All right. Everybody committed to this plan?
The only I guess so. The only problem with it I see is that assuming the ghosts are hostile, Kenthis is going to be stuck over there all night, regardless.
Well, I mean, I'm a good runner. I can always run away.
Are you that good, though? Can you outrun the supernatural?
Possibly, maybe.
Well, it's close enough that he can run outside of the confines of the... it's about 30 feet from inside the summoning circle to get past the rubble of the exterior wall. So he could do it. He could potentially outrun anything that's willing to come into the circle with him.
And as long as I don't attack, it's pretty tough for anything else physical outside the ruins to follow me. So, I'm okay with it.
Okay. If you're okay with it, that's the important thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down. It also means we're not going to be able to relieve you of guard duty. You're probably going to be up all night.
All right. That's fine. I'll just well, I guess I'll take like a fatigue penalty the next day. I'm okay with that. I like this double safety plan we have.
You're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
All right. So, Kenthis sets up, goes invisible.
I would be whittling the. What was the? Did you name the guy who kind of destroyed Heinrich, or are we just referring to him as the scary guy with the broadsword?
Scary guy with the broadsword.
I'm whittling a likeness of him.
Okay.
Because then we can show that to people in town and say, "Have you seen this man?"
Or Power Ranger action figure sized.
All right. And any special?
Whatever size is the most efficient, I don't really care.
All right. Okay. So the rest of you settling in downstairs. Heinrich and Ragnar, did you guys want to investigate the circle at all, or are you just gonna set up camp and?
I am perfectly okay with investigating it because now that it's activated, I don't feel real happy about it. Like this definitely heresy sense is going off for me.
They'll invest while we start to get camp ready.
Well, I'm going to assume that Kenthis explains to you that the whole thing that I explained to him about the energy from the ley line branching off and coming directly into the circle, so that this is not, according to him, demonic energy or even explicitly evil, but rather the natural energy that runs through the land itself.
Well, it could be implicitly evil. We're not real sure about this land, so heresy sense is still a little on edge. I'd still like to investigate it. It can't hurt,
Right.
you know.
How would you like to go about this investigation? What would you like to do?
I don't really have any
Left foot
backgrounds.
in, you put your left foot out.
You know, I don't really have any backgrounds that fit this investigation, but I do have the ritual magic class feature, and you know, I am kind of a spellcaster, so I'd like to just kind of feel see if there's something I can do to kind of
Absolutely.
get a sense of the magic that I feel or the power I feel coming off of it.
Absolutely. So, what I have here for your backgrounds, you have historian and interrogator. If there was anything else, I'm missing it.
I have interrogator, historian, trained medic, and also a student of gods and myth.
All right. I would roll student of gods and myth.
Okay. So it's that plus my level plus.
I would call this intelligence or wisdom. Take the better of the two.
Okay, I'll take wisdom then. Uh, 23.
I'm going to give you a bonus based on the investigations and what Kenthis told you from before.
Okay.
And I'll say that brings you up to 25, which will give you what you need to know.
Okay.
This appears to be an access. There's some sort of ability to transfer something here, to confer some sort of power onto another person.
Do I get any idea of what sort of power that is?
Well, he did mention that this is coming from the wellspring of very much mountain energy.
Okay.
And you would be imbued with that mountain energy if you were to step within. In fact, you might be said to have been bonded to this location.
Personally me, or whomever steps through?
Whomever steps in.
Okay.
I stepped in. I was in the circle earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, before it was activated.
Before it was activated, right?
And, okay, so the hag's blood has activated this this circle. Is
Yes.
what I'm taking away from this.
But
I
the
share this
hag's
with-
blood is also drying, and you notice that the circle is starting to dim as the blood dries.
About how much time do I think exists left?
You have less than 20 minutes.
I quickly explain this to my two downstairs companions. Hey, so I just discovered this thing about this circle that is totally maybe heresy. I don't know, but here's what's up.
Become one with the mountain.
We can become one with the mountain, but we gotta hurry and decide who does who. How much of a charge does it have? I assume only for one person.
You would guess that only one person can bond, correct?
Only one person can do this. We gotta decide who quick.
And I'm sitting in the circle directly above this circle.
No, it's not directly above.
Oh, okay. All right. I was scared for a second. Something was going to go wrong.
So it's basically the power of the mountain. Is that right?
Yep, some sort of benefit conferred by bonding with the mountain.
That sounds kind of like up y'all's alley, like the two of y'all. So.
And even between the two of us, it sounds more. Ember has more mountainous qualities than I do, I think.
That guardian kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
And I've had various. I've had to be in the middle of various circles and bad,
Sure, you were already there. You've got a leg up on the both of us.
Do it, Ember. Step in, buddy. Fingers
right.
crossed for you, man. Let's
I
hope
also
this
have a
works
very
out.
high constitution, so.
Yeah, this is something that Ragnar would do, but even in character, I think Ragnar thinks it's more Ember.
All right.
I will
Do it.
enter the circle then. Why not?
Okay. Ember steps into the circle, and again, this weird visual effect where Ember appears to bend at an unnatural angle as he crosses the barrier over the circle onto the interior of it, and where he becomes whole again and unbent. Ember only notices the resistance of moving in. It's almost as if he's trying to walk into water. Not that there's any difficulty breathing, mind you. But as you go in there, you get this strange prickling on your skin, almost as if it's hardening and petrifying. And then suddenly, you get hit with the whammy, where this bolt of energy shoots into you from your feet and almost feels like it's going to knock the top of your head off. And you just feel so full of this energy. And you just kind of freeze there. And everybody just sees you almost as soon as you get hit. You kind of like, ah! And you just kind of freeze there for like 5 whole minutes.
Wow.
Hey, man, do you think he's all right in there? He's not moving or anything.
You guys killed him.
But the light from the circle dissipates, still leaving it in the ground, but it's back to that same pre-activated thing that you saw before. And you have now bonded with the Mountain Thane. You gain a +2 bonus to your armor class. You gain resistance to one of the following: fire, lightning, or thunder. You pick now.
Lightning. Because.
Alright. That's resist 16+. So any attack that involves lightning has to roll a 16 or better naturally on the die in order to deal full damage to you.
Wow. So I can't
This
even
counts as 2 magical items.
Oh.
Ooh.
Good thing.
And
You
as
should be
such,
okay.
it carries a quirk. And that quirk is that you now have a limited capacity for expression. Almost literally a stone face. And your sense of touch is greatly reduced.
Huh.
So this split-second decision was potentially life-changing.
Potentially. But one thing that your investigations will show you, and I don't mind telling you this up front, is that the only one person can bind to this point at a time. And given the hag's capacity for expression when you fought her, she wasn't the one bound to this.
Oh.
So you just ruined someone's day, I guess.
But that also means that this can be taken away from him if somebody else knows the secret of this and are able to perform the ceremony again. But it appears to have required the hag's blood. Who knows if something else might be used to activate it?
Do we know if he took it from someone else, or is that unclear?
You're only as certain as you are as to whether the hag was affected by this prior, but the way that you wanted to stay within the circle probably suggests that she was only kind of gaining the benefit of being in the circle, that she didn't have this also. Otherwise, it would have been a really hard time to hit her.
Oh, we just lost Pierce.
Pierce?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully he'll be back.
Okay, so that was invigorating. So with the magic items, it's if you go above your level?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I am at
So-
my level currently. So I'm not going to
Right.
be touching taking possession of any other magic
Well,
items.
the thing with it is that right now the quirk is just a quirk. So even though, like you were saying, you express yourself, your facial expression is less expressive, and your sense of touch is diminished. That's only something that happens every once in a while when it's interesting. When you have more, it takes over completely. So like if you had 6 magic items or 6 chakra worth of magical items, you would never have a facial expression, and you probably wouldn't be able to touch anything or feel anything. In addition to whatever your other magical items would be doing. So right now it's just a role-playing thing. It takes over when something else comes into play.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's something that you could totally bring up yourself. You don't have to wait for me to bring that up.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. And part of the reason why I made this worth 2 magical items is not just because it was so heavy on defense, but also because only one person can have it at a time, and there's a benefit to you having it as opposed to that other person.
Right.
All right.
Sounds
So we are at 9:51 by my clock, which means that Aaron's going to have to take off here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, in about 10 minutes or so.
All right. So I'm going to be upfront with you guys. There is a combat coming up imminently. So, Pierce isn't back, and he hasn't sent a IM or tweet.
He favorited a tweet of mine a couple of minutes ago, but that was a couple of minutes ago, so that was like right as or after he was.
Oh no, he just tweeted now. He's lost his ability to G+, so he's having issues.
Weird.
And I don't want to start a combat and then have to finish it with just 2 people. Does that
Yeah.
seem fair?
That sounds fair.
All right. All
That's
right. Well, we're just getting back into this after having an extended 6 weeks of not playing, so
Yeah,
I don't mind this being a short session.
yeah. We were doing a lot of catch up tonight, remembering. Oh yeah, that's right. We were doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to call it tonight, and then all my personal stuff that's been weighing me down for the past 2 months is done after this weekend. So as far as I know, we're good for 2 weeks from now.
Cool.
So
I actually am not. I am going to be in Japan 2 weeks from now, so
oh, boo-hoo!
it's business related, unfortunately. So,
Well, get a laptop, damn it.
yeah, unless I have a free time at 9:30 in the morning on Thursday, I'll be missing that session.
That's
All
not
right.
too bad. I mean, come on. They're like priorities, man.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you safe flight, and I'm going to go offline now, and well, I'm going to bring the room offline now, and then we'll talk about this afterwards. But any in-game stuff you guys have questions about the situation before we go?
Nothing that needs immediate. We need to talk about the quirk of the Sun Sword, but that's something that we can work out. It doesn't have to be right now.
Okay.
I'd like
John?
to roll for my carving, if that is applicable now.
Yeah, well, we can get that out of the way.
All right.
Now,
And-
you're just trying to roll for the likeness?
Yes. Natural 20 on the least important roll thus far.
Still feels good. Still feels good.
And that's with my wood carving knife, which adds, what, +1, I guess?
Yes.
All right, then
Yes,
plus
I'll
wood
allow you
crafting
to add that to your crafting roll.
5 plus. All right, so that's a 31 on crafting a likeness of.
There we go. So even though you don't have the entire body, because you're not going to be able to do that all in this particular sitting, you started with the head and the face because you want to get those unique details right before it fades from memory. And yeah, you nail it.
All right.
All right. So
if I were to hold this up to someone, would they be able to tell if they had seen this guy before? Would they be like, "Oh yeah, that guy"?
yeah, after you rough out the shape of everything, you'd be absolutely correct.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
all right, and it looks like Pierce is back, sort of. We were just deciding to call it quits for the night because Aaron's got to go, and combat is like the very next thing I'm going to do. Because we weren't expecting you to be back.
Okay. Good timing on my part.
All right, so I'm going to hang up in the room. We can talk for a couple more minutes if people want to, but that's the end of the session for tonight. Did you have any questions, Pierce, before we end the session about the disposition of things right now?
I can ask whenever we log off real quick. It's totally okay. Or I can
Okay.
watch the video.
All right, no problem. All right, thanks everybody. I know we had a viewer at least once or twice tonight, so hopefully people will catch up with us and we'll have viewers again online. Woo! Good night.